Honey.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, freaks of all ages. It's Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, back on Monday with none other than...
Ryan 1988 or Justin. How are you doing, Nick?
I am doing well. I am off work today, although I go back to hell tomorrow. But as of right now, I'm doing well. How are you, Justin?
I'm doing pretty good, buddy. Doing pretty good. It's cloudy and gloomy here, so I don't know about you, but...
Yeah. It's cold, it's cloudy, it's rainy, it's fall. I'm ready.
Fall is here. Fall is here.
All right, to everybody in the live chat, first of all, Filthy Dan stopping in. Hey, Dan, how
Hello.
have you been?
What's going on, everybody?
Bobby, J-Dev, Art, Random, Antonis, Jose, Rudy. Who else? I think I got everyone so far. To everybody else watching, T. Parker, hello. Yes, it is Halloween's 43rd birthday today.
Happy birthday, Halloween. Hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam. We're back on Monday. It's crazy.
What's up, Sam?
We haven't been doing it on Monday. It's been, had something in the background there. Don't look at that. It was furniture. What's up, Jeffrey?
Hello.
So, guys, as you can tell by the title, and as you can tell just by what everybody's been talking about lately, the natural progression is we have talked about Halloween Kills ad nauseum. Everybody's seen it probably multiple times now. Everybody's feelings are already out there with it. Nobody's going to get caught by surprise about how someone feels. We know. It's set in stone pretty much now. Now it's time to look forward to Halloween Ends. We know we have another film coming next year. Correct me if I'm wrong. October, what's the date? Somebody let me know in the chat.
It's like mid-October, isn't it? Somewhere around there.
What's up, 1031?
Hello.
So yes, so that's the natural progression of things. Now we talk Halloween Ends because that's what's coming next. And basically, we're going to structure this fairly simply. We're going to talk about where we expect them to go. We're going to talk about some things we want to see. We're going to talk about maybe some fears we have. We're going to talk about how we think this is all going to end. and we're going to talk about what comes next. And that is basically what we're doing today. So everybody that is participating in the live chat, and if you are watching this on the playback, please go ahead and participate in the comments section below. First and foremost, to everybody in the live chat, as I said, I've gone through saying hello to everyby. We have welcomed you to the chat. Leave a like on the stream for us, and please make sure to stay active in the chat because we want to hear from you guys. So first and foremost, Justin, Halloween Kills has just ended. We get the ending that we get.
Yes.
Where do you think Halloween Ends is going?
Well, I think the way that the film ends, it's going to be we all know it's going to take place a few years later after the events of Halloween Kills. So I think it's going to be pretty much some things. One, you are going to see kind of where everybody is now, being that it's going to take a few years later. And I think Laurie and Allison are going to get some revenge. There's going to be some revenge there on good old Michael Myers. So,
all right. Ali, what's up? Wes, what's up?
What's up? How's everybody doing?
So, this is where I think we're headed. Obviously, if you guys have read, if you've been on the internet lately, which I know we all have, I think most of you guys have probably already read about the original ending that they had shot, and it's going to be on the Blu-ray, and how that was going to set up for Halloween Ends, but then they changed it because it didn't really make much sense if we were doing a 4-year time jump. Now, Justin, you're familiar with that ending, right?
I am not. So what's the ending?
So the original ending of Halloween Kills that was shown.
Hey, by the way, buddy, your camera's freezing a little bit, so I just want to let you know. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you still see me?
I can see you, but it's like it's frozen a little bit right now.
Lovely. What about you guys? Let me know if there's any audio or video issues in the chat, everyone.
But yeah, the ending. Sorry. What were you? What was the original ending?
So the original ending was that Laurie was going to call Karen right after she had died, and Michael was going to pick the phone up, and he was just going to breathe into the phone, and Laurie was going to know it's Michael. And she was going to say, there was going to be this moment of her reacting to obviously it being Michael, and knowing that her daughter is dead, and she was going to say, "I'm coming to get you, Michael." And then it was going to show the shot of her walking down the hospital hallway with the knife that we saw in the trailers. That's from that ending. David Gordon Green changed that, and I think rightfully so, because, well, this takes place 4 years later now. So to have it be the same night, to have that ending and then just pick up 4 years later wouldn't make much sense, because that ending is as if Laurie is going after him right now, which we know is not happening anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and connect to my Wi-Fi really quick to see if that helps, guys. Give me just a sec. Okay.
Okay, better. Much better.
Better?
Yep.
Okay. And that's basically what was supposed to happen. So where I think we're headed with this is we're obviously going to have this 4-year time jump, which I know that everybody has their opinion on whether they think that's a good thing or a bad thing. Me personally, I think it's a good thing. And I think it's a good thing because Laurie was mortally wounded in 2018. You know, she needs time to heal. You can't have 3 movies in the same night with her. She need a doctor in the balls and split her stomach open. Come on. Do you really think she's going to be able to fight Michael? Like, it's not going to happen. So I think it makes sense. But I think Bobby, it doesn't pick up immediately after Kills. It's going to pick up 4 years later. So I think where we're headed is Laurie and Allison are going to be on the hunt for Michael. But here's a question I have for everybody in the chat and for you, Justin. Do you think that after Laurie heard from Hawkins this isn't about you. The only reason he was at your house was because the doctor brought him there. Do you think Lori might check out a little bit? Do you think Lori might be like, wow, this dude really wasn't obsessed with me. I brought him into my, he just came back into my life by chance. Do you think that's going to happen? And this is going to be more Allison wanting revenge for her mom and dad?
No, I think this is going to be revenge for both Lori and Allison. I think they're both going to go after him. I think obviously before Karen died, maybe that would have been a situation where maybe Lori would have been like, okay, he wasn't after me. I can try to move on with my life in some way. But since Karen's now dead, Lori's going to go after him. Like, this is going to be a thing where Lori and Allison go after Michael. So
yeah. Well, and here's a comment that Ali brings up about getting tired of Myers being unmasked all the time. The last 4 movies keep revealing his face. I will say this: one, they do a good job of stylistically shooting it to where it's not just straight up on his face, full view and whatnot. But Ali has a good point. But I will say this, Ali, and to anybody else worried about that, and Halloween Ends, I fully expect to get a very clear shot of his face. I fully expect that.
I think we are. Now, if it would have been like a situation where he was unmasked the entire time, yeah, maybe I'd have problems with it. But the way they've kind of lit it and the way that they've shown it so far, I really don't mind it. It shows you that he is a human. He is a human when you don't have that mask. Does that make sense? Like, you're seeing there is a man behind this mask. He might be pure evil, but there is a man behind there. So I don't mind it. Again, if it would have been the entire movie where he didn't have a mask on, yeah. Of course, the Myers mask is classic. But yeah, I don't mind like having a moment where he doesn't have the mask on, because they really, again, haven't shown his face too much.
Yeah. So I want to address 2 things. First, Wes, and then J-Dev. Wes, yes. Sean Clark told me himself, off the record, but I think I'm allowed to say it now because I'm pretty sure Christopher Nelson has said something to this effect. Chris said that there will be a new mold for Halloween Ends. There will be a new mask. So I don't know how he's going to procure that. Is it going to be another department store? Is it going to be something like that? You know what I mean? But he will be getting a new mask in Halloween Ends. We will not now, unless that changes, because they did go back and change and make it a 4-year time jump and everything. I don't know. We'll have to see. But that's what I was under the impression of, is that he will be getting a new mask. And J-Dev says, do you guys really think Karen is 100% dead? Yes. And
I think so.
I say yes because Judy Greer got interviewed the other day and said that she's super bummed out that she's not coming back, but she knew she had to die in this movie. Her words exactly were, they're not going to kill Lori and they're not going to kill Allison. So I knew I was probably going to die before I even read the script. So
that's sad. I mean, she was my favorite thing about the movie, my favorite character in the movie, and it's just so sad that she's gone.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say, Antonis, thank you very much, my friend, for the super gracious super chat. He's got a few questions here that Justin and I are going to hammer out for you. What are your guys' plans on Halloween night? Justin, what are your plans?
I have the weekend off, so I'm pulling off a Halloween marathon all weekend. So It's going to be a very relaxing weekend.
Well, good. You need it. I will be taking my son trick-or-treating for the first time, and then I will be coming home and watching a block of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, Trick or Treat, and the original 1978 Halloween to top the night off.
Nice. I love it.
Do you think Lori will die in Halloween Ends? Yes.
I think so. I think this is what they're planning. I think this is the idea. But I have to say this. If they kill her off, they need to kill him off. Now, I know they want to do other Halloween movies, but you could do a Jamie Lloyd story there and have a Michael Myers in that timeline. I mean, we have timelines already. But if Lori dies, he has to die at the end of this movie.
Yep. And so that's the third part of the question, Antonis. I think that she needs to die, but I think they both have to die.
Yes.
And like Justin said, they can do an alternate timeline like they've done with this timeline already, to where you can just ignore that he died in this timeline. I mean, shit, we ignored that Jamie Lee died in the Resurrection timeline, so we can ignore any death in another timeline.
That's
Thank you
very
so
true.
much for your super chat, Antonis. I
Thank
greatly
you.
appreciate it. John asks, is it like witchcraft when his mask is on? I don't know, man, but I feel like, and what do you feel? How do you feel about this, Justin? I think that mask gives him power.
I think it does. I do. I think that mask gives him power. I think it's always been kind of like that with these movies, is like even the original movie, even though that's not obviously supernatural, I think the mask gives Michael some type of power. Again, we talk about like he's a man underneath the mask, but when he has that mask on, it's a different person. Does that make sense? Like it feels just different. Like,
well, yes, and it makes sense, especially too because of what you see in Halloween Kills and in Halloween 2018. Because in 2018, Michael is docile till he sees that mask.
yes,
and he feels the mask, and it immediately riles up something amongst everyone there, because something inside Michael is just clicking when that mask is around. And then you see it a few times in Halloween Kills. Lindsay tries to take it off. He freaks out. The mob takes it, or Karen takes it off. He immediately says, I don't even care that Allison's right there. I want my mask back, and goes after Karen because he wants his mask. And then finally, the mob. He is subdued until he puts it on and just stands up and kills everyone.
Yep.
So there's some kind of power with that mask.
Agreed.
Now, this is another good question. So we're gonna get into this. And Rudy, this is a good question, comment, because I've been wondering about this. I do believe we will hear about Ben Tramer. I hope we see him, but
I think we will.
I have a sneaking suspicion he might be Karen's dad.
I think he is. Like, I really think he's Karen's dad. So I really think he's going to make an appearance. And they talked about him in the last movie. I mean, they talked about Ben Tramer in Halloween Kills. So I think we are going to see Ben Tramer in this next movie. I think that'd be interesting. We need to bring in another character. So.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that although there is this theory going around online right now that Hawkins might be Karen's dad, and I don't know how I feel about that, because you do get the sense that he and Lori have this past, and they kind of alluded to it a little bit more in this movie.
Yeah,
but I don't think I would like it if he was her dad. I
think if I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't think he is the dad, because I think we would have known already. I thought in Halloween 2018 that was the idea, was that he was going to be Karen's dad, but I don't think he is. I think it's Ben Tramer. So kind of like they did with Halloween Kills. You know, they brought in Lonnie and brought in different characters. I think bringing Ben Tramer into Halloween Ends will be a really good idea.
Yeah, I think so too. Ali asks about how do we feel about a movie taking place between Halloween 1 and Halloween 2. I'd be okay with it, but the only problem I have is that there's nothing canon to say that Michael killed anyone else during that time frame. So you'd be essentially rewriting history, because they mentioned many times how many people he killed that night in 1978. So if you add an entire movie in there and add more to the body count, it would make all the subsequent films irrelevant, essentially.
I loved the idea of what they wanted to do with Halloween Ends before David Gordon Green came on. Like not Halloween Ends, but Halloween Returns was supposed to be a sequel to Halloween 1 and 2, and the sheriff, or the deputy in Halloween 2, was supposed to come back, in present time. So if they did something like that, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Bucky is Karen's dad. Absolutely. What's up, Caleb? How you doing?
Hey, Caleb.
So yeah, and everybody's talking about in the chat how they mention in Kills that they just kissed. Yeah, I know. I'm not saying I believe that theory. What I'm saying is there is a theory going around that people are talking about right now, about Hawkins potentially being the dad, because when they were speaking and reminiscing, you get a shot of Lori laying there in the almost of regret or sadness or guilt or something. Her face is conveying something
Yeah.
right after he mentions, but I took that as he mentioned Ben Tramer, and then she was having some type of memory about Ben Tramer. And that's why she had that face, which is why I believe that Ben Tramer is Karen's dad. And to anybody that thinks, well, that's just more unnecessary fan service, it's not unnecessary.
No.
Because we've never gotten anything about Ben Tramer, except he was just always Lori's crush.
Yep.
He died in Halloween 2, which is no longer a part of this timeline. So, like,
That's right.
fan service because of the name, yeah, but we never got to meet the character. So let's meet the character and find out who this Ben Tramer is.
That's right. That's right. I agree. So I'm just gonna talk about with Ben Tramer. I think it's pretty now, rewind. I think that Lori had a thing for Hawkins, and so that scene where she looks like she's emotional, I think it's a situation where I think she always loved Hawkins, maybe that was something.
Yeah, I just don't think she was ever emotionally available.
No,
And that's
no,
why they never ended up together.
that's exactly it. So
Ali, I don't know if that victim counts from the beginning of Halloween 2. I don't think so, because they totally ignored 2. And then Caleb, I really enjoyed gosh, my Lord. I really enjoyed Halloween Kills.
I did too.
Yeah, Justin had a fun time with it too. It ranks near the back for Justin. But remember, Halloween 2018 did as well, and it slid up a little bit, so you never know.
Where it could go.
Right smack dab in the middle for me. I had a good time with Halloween Kills. I really did.
I had a good time with it too. For me, in my opinion, there's not a Halloween movie I can't watch. Unlike some other franchises, like I can watch any of the Halloween movies and have a good time with them. So I didn't hate it. I had a good time with it. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was brutal. Not one of my favorites, but definitely a good time. So
yeah. Okay, so now let's get into fears about Halloween Ends. Things that we are worried about that will continue. And first and foremost, right off the top, one of my biggest fears about Halloween Ends is that 3 movies into this thing, they're not going to get the damn dialogue right. Yeah. That is one of my big worries, because look, I think they've crafted a good story. I think they've made some good characters, given us some good character development, but it's the normal human interaction that we're supposed to get with this dialogue that just at times seems so fake and forced and unnecessary. And I feel like after this movie, they need to sit down with McBride or whoever the hell it is and go, look, this type of shit you have to take a step back with this, because it just doesn't seem like real people having real conversation. And
I agree.
So that's a fear of mine.
I mean, that's my fear. That's my gripe with these new Halloween movies as well. I have a good time with them. I think the writing is probably one of my biggest flaws with these movies. Either the dialogue or what I feel to be unnecessary humor. Like for me, with Ends especially, if you were going to make this your final movie, cut out the humor. Like, for me, that's it. Like, I'm okay with humor in horror movies when it feels natural. And I just don't think it's with these movies. I think the humor feels forced. I don't want to be in a theater where people are laughing at the screen. Does that make sense? Like, with a movie like this, you have to like have those scares and that fear. And that's my biggest flaw with these 2 movies, the writing. I don't know. I don't know if you told me or I was hearing something, but I think they're actually bringing in 2 new writers for this new movie.
Yes. Now, Danny McBride is still a writer.
Oh, I know.
They're adding 2 more. Yes.
But that's my thing. That's my only thing. You're making the final film. Don't bring a lot of humor into it. Like, yeah. I feel like in Halloween Kills, they did better with the humor. Um, but again, I don't want to laugh. Like, I'm not wanting to laugh. I don't want the audience to laugh at something. I'm like, we're watching a Halloween movie. Does it need to be scary all the time? No, but I think that humor and that dialogue in these movies is just not great.
Well, and I have this comment up because this is one of my biggest pet peeves over the last two movies. What Wes says, nobody calls their grandma grandmother, especially
Yeah.
when you have some type of relationship with her. Please, for the love of all that is holy, just have her call her grandma. Just have her call her grandma in this movie. I'm so tired of the cringy ass grandmother. Like, you call your mom, your dad. You don't call her mother and father. Stop calling her grandmother. Stop it. It's pissing me off. Stop.
And I also think that, and I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I love the character Laurie Strode. She used to be she used to be my favorite Scream Queen final girl. It's now Neve Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
Sidney Prescott.
Yeah.
I don't like, I don't want to say I don't like the way she's portrayed in these movies. I think some of the dialogue she's given feels a little hokey. Like, I feel like her best performance, in my opinion, in this Halloween franchise is Halloween H2O. I love her performance in Halloween H2O.
I would agree, but I will say that the performances that Jamie Lee has given in these two movies have been more than fine. I thought her acting was great, but they are not giving her the type of dialogue that makes her stand out.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. I think she's great in these movies. I love Jamie Lee Curtis. But again, like you said, the dialogue, for me, give her better dialogue.
Yeah. The whole scene in Halloween H2O when she's telling Will about her past when they're on the couch and stuff, that is a great scene. The scene when she's out to lunch with him and she's talking about how she's tried all these therapies and it doesn't work, and like, you get some great Jamie Lee dialogue in there. You really, really do. And I felt like Kills, believe it or not, had some better dialogue for her than 18 did, because 18 for her was all about, he's coming back. He's coming for me. He wants me. He wants me. Whereas Kills was like, Laurie was starting to realize, like, I can't stop this dude. We can't stop this dude. I want to stop him, but getting this mob and everything isn't going to work. Like, she's starting to realize, and you can tell the wheels are starting to turn for Laurie. And I love that, because this leads me into the next thing I want to talk about. When it comes to fears about Halloween Ends. And I have a fear about this. And Prodigy, by the way, Christian and I are going to be doing a Halloween Kills commentary tonight for the You Need a Horror podcast, though I don't think it's going to be live. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be live, but we're doing that. So we'll be rewatching it too. So watch it with
the Catman.
Hey, Catman, what's up? But anyway, one of my fears about Halloween Ends, leading into what I just said, is I am worried that they're going to focus too much time. And this may sound, people might be like, what the hell are you talking about? I feel like they're going to focus way too much time on Allison being the one that gets the final say, essentially, when we've known this was about Laurie Strode from 2018. So I'm just saying, I will be upset if she bites the bullet halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
Because I think there needs to be a fair balance of Laurie Strode and Allison together. But you cannot put Jamie Lee in the backseat like you did with Halloween Kills. You can't. No. Because if this is the end of her story, she has to be front and center. She has to.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
No, I agree. You need to make this Laurie story. Like, I mean, you've brought her back to this franchise with 2018. This is her trilogy. Like, this is, for me, like, this is her trilogy. Yes, Allison's a great character. She's a great actress, Andy. But this needs to be Laurie's final story. Like, she needs to be in the entire thing. Like, again, if they kill her off at the end with Myers, that's the end of it. But she needs to be in this movie. like 100%.
Yeah. Antonis, I think that Halloween Kills had better kills.
I do too. I do
And
too.
T. Parker, I know that's the plan. I've known that was the plan since after 18. Like I think we all kind of, okay, 18's Laurie's movie, Kills is Karen's movie, and Ends is Allison's movie. That's totally fine. I don't care if Allison is front and center. What I'm saying is Laurie better be right there with her.
Right.
Because
That's right.
Laurie's friends died on that night in 1978. Her daughter was murdered. She's just as affected as Allison is by all of this. And this is supposed to be Laurie's final hurrah. So she better get ample screen time. I mean, that's just how I feel about it.
Agreed. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. So off topic, well, not off topic, but Halloween Ends. Did you hear that? I don't know if it's a rumor or if they've confirmed it, but Kyle Richards is coming back as Lindsay Wallace.
David Gordon Green said in an interview the other day, I don't think we've seen the last of Kyle Richards in this franchise.
Which I'm so happy with, because
she'll be back.
She was great. She
needs to get more to do. She needs to get more to do.
That's it. That's what it is. She proved in that movie that even though she had little screen time, she was great in the movie. So just give her more in this film.
Christian, real quick while you're in here, I told everybody about our Kills commentary, and I didn't know if it was live or if it's going to be recorded. So if you could let people know in the chat really quick if it's live or if it's going to be recorded tonight. And then to your comment, I know that's going to be one of the things that people have an issue with. Oh, here we go again. Laurie's, final hurrah. But that's why I say give them both the screen time. Make it front and center. Make it front and center with Laurie and Allison. They should both have that moment in this movie. They both deserve to have that moment. And Laurie deserves to have that emphatic, okay, you are done. Your character is done. She's never coming back. There will be no H60. We need that. I think as a fan base.
I think that Jamie Lee Curtis is, you never want to say never, but I think she's done after this. I was surprised that they convinced her to come back and do 2018 and then do a trilogy. But I think this will be the last time we see Laurie. I don't think we're going to see Jamie Lee Curtis again. I think this will be the last time we see her.
All right, guys, what do you think? Christian Anahor, just put it out there in the chat. Let Christian know in the chat what you guys want. Do you want to watch Kills with us tonight live, or do you want us to pre-record it? Make your voices heard. So that was another fear. We just addressed that. We had a question from T. Parker. Better score. Look, I think it's 18. I think it's 18, but there are some freaking great tracks. I've been listening to this score in my car like every day.
I just bought the CD, so I have the Kill CD. I'm going with 2018. I think it's slightly better, but Kills has some great stuff in it. So I think that one of the other reasons I think 2018 is better is just because Carpenter came back. You had John Carpenter come back to the franchise, and he just nailed it with that soundtrack. So I love it.
Yeah, he absolutely did. I think some of the standouts for this movie were, I love the track Strodes at the Hospital. I love the track
Unkillable.
Logos Kill is fantastic. Let's see. I'm trying to think of I want to get the name. Payback, Michael's Legend. There's some great tracks on it.
Yes, hands down.
Yeah, it's and this is a good point that Christian puts in the chat. The problem is the music isn't as noticeable. Yes, it's absolutely true. Kills has way more going on than 2018 did. So upon rewatches, since I've watched it 4 times now. Upon rewatches, I have noticed it more because I've been looking for it. But the first and second time you watch it, you're not looking for it. You're just paying attention to what's on the screen because you don't want to miss anything. And then as you're rewatching it, you're like, oh man, that track's right there. I couldn't remember that. Oh wait, that track's right there, like Unkillable. I absolutely love when he's standing at the top of the steps looking at Allison and Unkillable kicks in. And it's just like, I was like, oh, hell yeah. But you don't notice it the first time you're watching it. That's what I'm saying. So that's a very good point, Christian. Very good point. You don't realize it. You really don't realize it until you go back and you rewatch it. But that's how I felt. So we both picked 18 then, right? Score wise.
Yeah, 2018. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God, From the Fire is great too. From the Fire is awesome. I love how it literally just sounds like something is on fire. I don't know. It's fantastic. And I just picture the scene of him coming out on the porch in my head when I'm hearing that. It's just like, oh, let's go.
I know.
So yeah. So then getting a little bit more into Halloween Ends, guys. So we've talked about, let me ask you something, Justin. What's another, are you fearful of anything else that we haven't mentioned yet? What's up, Norin?
What's up? Wow. Not really. I guess another thing that they really need to work on, and we bring up Lindsay Wallace if they bring her back, is, you're bringing these characters back and it's great, but you really need to develop them better. Like, that's my thing. This is your last Halloween movie. This is the end of this trilogy. Develop characters better. Because again, I think, I don't know your opinion on this, but I think Lindsay Wallace, Kyle Richards, was better. And I think Anthony Michael Hall is a great actor, but I thought Lindsay Wallace was a better character than Tommy Doyle.
Oh, without doubt.
And it was a shame that we didn't get more of her. Her stuff was great. So in this next movie, with the characters in general, you need to expand them more. Like, there needs to be more development there. I mean, you're bringing in great characters, expand them more.
Well, I will say what you're saying. I'll add on top of that really quick. Not just develop them more, because they did not give Lindsay enough to do. That's absolutely true. But for the love of God, have them have a moment with Laurie Strode.
Right.
What a missed opportunity. I mean, what a missed opportunity.
I mean, think of all these characters that we had in Halloween Kills. I mean, the only one, Tommy Doyle had that moment with Laurie, but I think it was one scene with her. But Lindsay Wallace or Kyle Richards, no scenes with her. Marion Chambers, no scenes with her. And then the big one for me, and I wish they would have used him more, was Charles Cyphers, Sheriff Brackett. I mean, they have history together. Annie was. The
more frustrating part is that they literally made a point to have Brackett sitting there, turn around and go, Laurie. Like,
they didn't do nothing
Laurie?
with her.
They did nothing.
They did nothing.
Who is writing these movies? Like,
they did nothing. They did nothing.
I get it. I get that you're worried. I get you're worried a little bit about, well, we don't want it to seem like it's too reliant upon nostalgia and callbacks. I get that. But having these characters have a moment with a significant other character that they had previous significant moments with 40 years ago, it needs to happen. Like,
I think what they did right with Kills that they didn't do with 2018 was have a moment where Laurie kind of acknowledged Annie and Linda. At least in this movie, they acknowledged that Annie and Linda existed, and they talked about them, and they talked about Bob. But what they did wrong with this movie is you didn't have that moment with Laurie and Sheriff Brackett. Maybe having a conversation about Annie. Like, stuff like that. Like, that's the stuff that I think was just missed opportunity. It was a missed opportunity.
Yes. Let's see.
And they needed it.
Will we get somebody to say Evil dies tonight and ends? I hope not.
No, I don't think we are.
Yes, Norin, it takes place 4 years later. Can the new sheriff do something and ends? He is absolutely useless. Oh, he's the worst sheriff I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah. I really thought
he lost complete control of that town. Complete control.
I didn't like him in the 2018 because they didn't really do anything with him. And when they brought him back in this movie, I thought, okay, we are going to get more of him. He is coming back. And again, didn't do a lot with him. So, I mean, if they're going to bring him back, have him do a lot more in it. It's like, that's my problem. Again, they don't really develop these characters too much. They don't work with them too much.
Yeah.
They need to improve on that.
T. Parker, I agree. I really liked Robert Longstreet as Lonnie. He was one of the highlights,
Yes.
acting wise.
Yes, I agree. He was one of my favorites. So
Yeah, and Brooke, that's a great point. I'm gonna put that comment up. One of the only characters I was not very excited for, and he ended up being my favorite. That is exactly how I felt. I was excited to see Tommy Doyle again and Lindsay Wallace again. Here's the thing. Tommy, you got way too much of him, and his dialogue was terrible. Anthony Michael Hall did fine, but they wrote the character like shit. Yeah. Lindsay, you didn't get hardly any time with her. She had almost nothing to do. She had a great moment, like where she, she was smart and she got away, but you didn't get enough of her. Lonnie, you got enough of him to see some development of him as a human being. And I really loved him. I really, really did.
Somebody brought up Cameron too. I thought Cameron was better in this movie, and I wish he would have survived. I wish we would have had him survive this movie because he was likable, and that was probably the hardest death in this movie was seeing him die. Like, I had a hard time with that one.
Evil ends tonight. I'll say this, Justin. I agree that I really liked Cameron in this movie, but you do not get the emotional, visceral reaction that you get at the end of this movie and character, a setup for Allison to really take the next leap in the next movie without Cameron dying like that right in front of her face.
Oh, yeah. No, oh, yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, that is only going to add to her purpose. So I am totally okay with that. Totally.
I mean, you got to think about it. She's going after revenge for her dad, her mom, and Cameron. Well,
yeah, and so I get it. But yeah, that's the thing, man. So another thing that I would say that I'm worried about with Halloween Ends is that I want to address this because I don't know. Yeah.
One more other thing, real quick. I didn't interrupt you, but I know Halloween Kills ends on a cliffhanger. I get it, but the other problem I've had with 2018 and Kills are the endings. Like I feel like they're trying to wrap these movies up, and they're figuring out the best way to do it. And I know they had to reshoot these endings, but like I feel like the endings just aren't. And this is just my opinion, aren't as satisfying as they should be. I think Kills is shocking because of Karen's death. But I think with Halloween Ends, you need to end it better. And well, you know what I mean? Like, I think it just needs a better, solid ending. Like, these movies need better, solid endings.
I think that, I can't remember who it was that said something about this, that they intentionally had these two endings. They knew that the ending of 18 and Kills were going to be like that because they want people to be yearning for more. So I don't think an ending like that will happen with Ends. I really don't. I think that we'll get a pretty definitive ending for Halloween Ends. Now, unless the ending is that, yeah, it is the end. Laurie Strode dies and Michael lives. And then maybe it's not definitive. But I don't know, because they've played up this whole narrative of, generational trauma and stuff like that through these first two movies. I don't think they're just going to kill Laurie and let Michael walk away. I don't think they will.
No.
Sam, I don't know. I really don't know if we're going to get an extended version. I hope so.
Me too.
Yes. Yes, Ali, I have always wondered that. I always thought it was in poor taste for that store to carry that mask in Halloween 4. I never understood it. Never.
I mean, I don't either, but they have the mask there. So.
Yes. Bobby brings up, is it still contractual to not kill Myers? I don't know.
Well, I mean, technically, it's like they could kill him in this movie, but it doesn't mean they can't bring Michael back because obviously they're going to.
Malik Akkad said something to that effect. I can't remember when it was, but he said, we've experimented with other timelines, so I think you could kill Myers and never actually really kill him because you could always just go to another timeline. So
that's right.
I don't think so. But again,
But when they do that though, and they do decide to go another direction, don't call the movie Halloween again. Like, call it something else. Like, if they're gonna be like, this is the fourth movie where it's called Halloween, I'm like, let's not do that again. Let's try something different.
Yeah, I think the reason for that is though that they're worried. They're worried about. There's actually studies that show when you have the longer a title is most of the time, especially if it's an episodic, hey, this is a franchise that's been around for X amount of years. People think immediately with the subtitle like that, like, oh crap, how many of these movies have I missed? That way, if you just call it Halloween, they're like, oh, it's a fresh start. Okay, I didn't miss anything. They're doing the same thing with Scream.
Yeah.
So, but I agree, it shouldn't just be called Halloween. No.
It needs something. Something needs to be there. So.
Yes, Ali, I did notice that. And Antonis, never. At least not in our lifetimes. And it'll be the same way for Freddy and Jason. It's just, guys, you got to look at the Universal monsters. Look at the Mummy. Look at Dracula. Look at Frankenstein. Iterations of those characters will never go away because they're just too iconic in the eye of pop culture. Yeah. Everybody knows who they are. Everybody likes them. They make a lot of money. They might go away for 10 years or 15 years, but then a new one will come out. They'll never stop with these movies. So
no, and they won't. And I think we almost lost hope a little bit between that almost 10-year gap after Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, because you remember, like, they had like 3 scripts that they wanted to do, and like production was slowly starting to happen, or the scripts were going to get greenlit, and nothing happened. So I'm happy we have these movies around. So
we had 3 false starts with the Halloween movie before we finally got Halloween 2018. 3. Yeah. So now, Ronan, this is a great question. And I want to say, if you're new to the channel, it's fine that you haven't gotten around to the ranking videos. We appreciate you being here. My answer to this is 4 through 6, without a doubt. Because I'm not a big fan of 2018. And I am a pretty big fan of Kills. And Justin's pretty much just flip-flop.
Casual fan.
Yeah. Casual fan. But 4, 5, and 6 are like the golden era of Halloween. I don't think anything will ever touch that era.
I love Halloween 4 t-shirt I'm wearing, but I love that time. I love those movies. And yes, some people might consider them silly, the storylines and everything. But for me, another problem I've had with these new Halloween movies is I think Kills kind of upped it a little bit, but the stories just aren't. They don't affect me, or they don't hit me like those other movies do. If that makes sense. Like, I don't think they've really done anything with the story, especially Halloween 2018, to make it, in my opinion, one of the best Halloween films. For me, I think they didn't do too much with the story. I'm rambling. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I agree. And I was going to say, you know why that is? It's because there's no brother-sister angle anymore.
That's right.
There isn't that underlying reason and motivation and this face-to-face meeting of these estranged family members and all this. Like, it's not there anymore. Michael is motiveless. So when he's motiveless, there isn't a ton of story there because he's just motiveless. I know. Take the good with the bad, I guess.
Hey, I watched 2 years ago on Halloween night, I watched Carpenter's Halloween, Halloween 2, and I know it's not part of the timeline, but I watched 2018 in a row, and it felt better. I know they're not brother and sister in 2018. I know that was a myth, but it felt better. Like, I was more entertained with that.
Yeah.
Random, I think that
I saw that Easter egg, the Bob Odenkirk Easter egg in Kills. Yes, I saw that.
I am still one that prefers the brother sister storyline. That's what I grew up with. That's what I've always known, and I think it works better.
I can't help but look at her as his sister.
I know.
But having said that, I liked the idea of a motiveless Michael. I don't know. it is what it is. I don't know if I have a preference for either one when it comes to the motive or no motive. I love them both in their own right. But to your question, T. Parker, better double feature, Halloween and Halloween 2 or Halloween and Halloween Kills. Right now, that's hard. I don't know. And the only reason I say it is because Halloween is the best. And Halloween 2 is a very good sequel. But Kills just, I mean, they both pick up right where the other one left off. But I feel like tonally, Halloween Kills is closer in tone to Halloween 2018 than Halloween 2 is to Halloween, because Halloween 2 is very, it's a totally different Michael. It's gorier, it's a higher body count, it's a different setting, new characters. Whereas Kills is like, you get a lot of characters coming back, you get a lot of these revisited settings, you get a lot. I will say, as a purist, it's probably 1 and 2. But I'm just making the case that 2018 and Kills flow really, really well together. They really do.
I think they flow well together, but for me, it's always Halloween 1 and 2. And, you know, they're just special for me. I love those. I think it's one big movie, and I love that. But yeah, I think Halloween and Halloween Kills flow nice together. I think they flow great together.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go back to something and talk about, like, the reason why I think Halloween 2018 is just like a fine movie. Like, it's grown on me. I don't love it, but it's grown on me. Is that, you know, when they were making that movie and they were talking about that movie, you know, they made it clear. They were like, we are erasing everything before 2018. Everything between Carpenter's movie and our movie is gone. We appreciate those movies, but they're gone. And so they were hyping this movie up like, this is the Halloween film that you all have been wanting. This is what you need. We are bringing this to you. And in my personal opinion, I just didn't think it brought anything special. I don't think it brought anything special. And I don't think these new movies are too much. I enjoy the movies. I have a good time with them. But for me, you know, that's kind of just my opinion with it. So with Ends, they need to nail it. Like, Ends needs to be one of the best.
I will say something that, by the way, everybody, I don't know if you listen to the song Hunter's Moon by the band Ghost. That I love it. That's in the end credits. I love the song. Before the movie came out, Christian and I were talking to each other about it, and we were dissecting the lyrics. And he's talking about seeing his sister again underneath a headstone, you know, coming home, all this stuff. We thought, is Judith going to play a role in this movie? Like, is Judith really going to? We thought she was going to play a role because those lyrics make you think she is. This might sound morbid, but I really thought he was going to dig her up and put her in her room in Halloween Kills. I thought he was, and people might go, well, where would that come from? Well, one, the lyrics of that song. Two, he already took her headstone in 78, so it wouldn't be uncalled for. I kind of wish that Judith would have played somewhat of a role in this movie, because that's where it all started for Michael, you know?
Yeah.
I just thought, how weird would that be if Michael dug her up and put her back in her room? Like,
I do like that they mention Judith quite a bit in these movies. Like, she's been mentioned quite a bit. Like, I feel like the original Halloween, she's mentioned, and then you don't really talk about her too much until, you know, she's introduced in the Rob Zombie films. But in these movies, especially Kills, they really talked about Judith Myers quite a bit. So I like that.
Yeah. Brooke, the answer is yes. Absolutely. It's recency bias. 1. 2, I've addressed this with people before, and I'm just going to say it again. I'm going to put it out there. And if people don't like it, that's fine. I think a lot of people are annoyed with Halloween because Halloween won't go away, in the sense of, we have Friday hasn't been here in 12 years. Nightmare hasn't been here in 11 years. And we have no news on anything coming out of either one of those. So this is the 80s slasher fans. This is what they're getting. Halloween. So they might not be diehard Halloween fans. They might just be slasher fans. And if all they have to satisfy their craving is Halloween, of course they're going to pick it apart because it's not their cup of tea. But it's where they're getting their slasher fix right now. It is absolutely recency bias. If I go back and I look at Halloween 4 and Halloween 5 and Halloween 6, I could pick those movies apart. I absolutely could. But you know why I don't? Because they're 30 years old. They were a product of their time. And over time, they've gained a love and a following from people. And 2018 and Kills will be the same way. So the incessant need by people to nitpick things about these movies, it does get under my skin. It does get under my skin because I just feel people are intimidated by Myers and Halloween personally, because I'm just going to say it. He's your daddy. He's the grandfather. He came before Jason. He came before Freddy. He came before a lot of these iconic characters that people love today. And he won't go away. And it's almost kind of like, move, Michael, make room for this guy or that guy. You're taking up all the spotlight. Good. He deserves it.
Here, I'm going to say this. We had a 10-year gap where we didn't get a Myers movie. We didn't think we were going to get one. So for me, I'm just excited that we have them. I might not love these movies, but I enjoy these movies. I have a good time with these movies. But I'm just happy we had them. I'm happy we have more Halloween movies. And hopefully we get more Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street and all these other slasher icons back. But I'm happy we have these movies.
Yes. And I agree. See you later, 1031. Thanks for being in here.
Bye, 1031. Have a good night, bud.
Yes, people will appreciate. Here's the one thing, though, T. Parker. They better land Halloween Ends. Because if they don't land Halloween Ends, it's going to make people think this trilogy was a complete waste of time. So you better stick the landing. I mean, you better end this the right way. Kill count. What's your favorite kill in Halloween Kills, Justin?
What is my favorite kill in Halloween Kills? Ooh. Let me think about this.
Cameron for me.
Cameron. It's devastating, but I'm going to say Cameron.
Yeah. Had the most of impact on me.
Yes.
So overall, what I want to see from Halloween Ends, and I feel like I align a lot with Dave McCrae on this. If you guys watch Dave McCrae, I watched what he wanted from Halloween Ends. And here's I want to give my bullet points, and then Justin will give your bullet points, and then we'll talk about where we think the series goes from here. What I want from Halloween Ends is I want a definitive ending, period. I want Laurie to feel like she won, and that might mean that she has to die too, and that's totally fine. I want a smaller scale. I want suspense. I want stalking. I want a more contained movie. I loved Kills for what it was, but now that we're at the end of the trilogy, bring it back to its roots. Bring it back to its roots and make it just, you guys understand what I'm saying. Bring back the music as a focal point of the movie. The music's great in Kills, but they don't use it as much as they did in 2018. So make it a character in and of itself again. And Allison needs to have a good resolution for herself as well. Lindsay needs to be given something to do. And the dialogue needs to be written like normal people would speak to each other. You hit those points, and Halloween Ends is a success for me. It's a success for me, period. Because James Jude Courtney has already become the de facto Michael Myers, in my opinion. He is.
I love him. Yeah.
He's the best. I think he's the best. He just does everything the right way, even from the little things in Halloween Kills, where she's shooting, the woman shooting at him while he's in the car, and he like looks like confused out the car window for a second, like, she really just shoot at me, before he kicks the door. Or when he gets out of the car and he stands there, and you have the shot looking up at him, and he's like, just turns the mask. Like, he is perfect in everything he does. So those are the bullet points. You hit those, you got a great movie in Halloween Ends. Justin, give me your bullet points for a successful Halloween Ends.
Well, I agree with a lot of what you said. We need better dialogue, better writing. Needs to be a lot more serious. I know these movies have serious moments in them, but again, I'm just gonna say this. I don't need the humor in the movies. I feel like the humor in these movies take away from the movie. Like it takes me out of the movie, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So cut that out. You know, this is your final Halloween movie in this trilogy. This Laurie Strode story. Cut that out. Make it more serious. Make it more dark. Like you said, make it more contained. I like that. Make it more contained. Develop characters better. Bring back, like you said, Lindsay Wallace. If you're gonna use Lindsay Wallace again, make her a bigger character in this next movie. You know, I love the Carpenter soundtracks. Hopefully, this soundtrack is up there with those or even better. Yeah, this one just needs to be the one. For me, I hope that Halloween Ends will be like top favorite for me. This needs to be a big one. This is your last movie.
It needs to die.
It needs to die. So,
I think that if this movie is a banger, it's going to make people appreciate 2018 and Kills that much more because it's all one story. And I wouldn't be surprised if we watch Halloween Ends and we love it. And then we go back and we're like, wow, this trilogy actually is pretty good because every movie was leading up to that finale and every story point was important to the finale. So if they stick the landing, this could be a damn good trilogy when it's all said and done. Brooke asked a question about mentioning John Carpenter coming back to direct it as like his swan song. I said this to Christian. Christian was not a fan. I would love to see that. I would love to see him get behind the director chair one more time and end his character, in his mind at least, the way he wants to. Having said that, one, John has no interest.
No.
Two, this is David's story. He's already 2 movies in. You let him finish it.
Exactly. I'm not a fan of David Gordon Green, but I don't love these movies. However, I will say this. I think that this needs to be his ending. He came up with this. Let him direct his final film in this trilogy. But you know what? If Carpenter wanted to write some stuff, I'd be down with that. Like if Carpenter wanted to like incorporate some ideas for the script, that'd be cool.
I'm going to say this, and I want to know how you guys feel about this. Don't be surprised if we get a Carpenter cameo. And I don't mean on film. Don't be surprised if once the movie's finished and they're doing the promotional material, if David Gordon Green says, there's one scene in this movie that John Carpenter directed. No. Don't be surprised if they talk that old bastard, hey, into it. Hey, you know, maybe it's a scene of Michael and Laurie coming face to face again. I personally would think that'd be a really, really cool thing for the fans and for John, because it's his characters that, you know, Laurie and Michael facing off together is coming to an end finally. It'd be really cool for John to be able to direct a scene. I think that'd be, I just don't think he has any interest. I just really don't think he has any interest.
No, and I'd agree with Christian, though. He talks about H2O. For me, that's always going to be the best ending of a Halloween movie.
Well, it's nice to see Christian pop back in because Christian's idea that he thinks how Halloween Ends is going to end is he thinks the Myers house has to burn with Michael in it. That's what he thinks.
I mean, that would be a great idea. I would be down.
I want to see. I want to see Laurie chop his head off, just like H2O, and it's actually him.
Hey, you know what? I think she would love that, being that she's always disliked the idea that they kind of tricked her into doing another Halloween movie after Halloween H2O.
Yeah.
That's a great
It's not
idea.
happening.
But man, I still, every time I watch Halloween H2O, that ending always gets me. Like, I know it's coming, but I love the end of that movie.
Oh man, that will happen. You will get Nick Castle for one shot in this movie,
Oh
like they
yeah,
did in 18, and it'll probably be when they come face to face. It won't be the whole scene because he's too old to do all those stunts and
yeah,
whatnot. But when they first come face to face, it will probably be Nick.
yep. No, I agree.
That's what I would assume.
Yeah.
Now, so that's what we think is going to happen with,
Mhm.
with Halloween Ends, or what we hope is going to happen. I mean, nobody can really know. Antonis
Yeah.
asked earlier in the chat, and by the way, Antonis, again, thank you for your super chat.
Thank you.
He asked if, my lord, it is escaping me at this moment. Damn, I can't remember when Antonis asked. I'm sorry, man. I got your question for your super chat, but it was a while back. But personally, I think that the best ending is, oh yes, he asked when will we get our first look at the cast and the set and everything. January, when they start filming.
Is it January?
Yeah, they start filming January 15th, I think
Okay.
is what Sean Clark said. Sean said Chris told him, I think January 15th.
Yeah.
And then David Gordon Green was interviewed last week, and he said, the script is done. I sent it to John. John is giving me notes on it, and then we're going to perfect it, and they're prepping right now to go start shooting in January. So I would assume they're going to be building any sets they need to build right now. That probably is all happening right now. Casting is happening right now. So January is when you're going to get your first look at anything on the set. But guys, I just got to say, I know that there's a big, maybe not big, but very vocal part of this community that is absolutely on the, let's move past this Laurie Strode story. And I am one of those people as well. But even being one of those people where I'm like, I don't need Laurie anymore, I want Halloween Ends to be her freaking swan song that she deserves.
Yes.
I mean, I want her to have a moment in this movie that is as iconic as H2O, when she comes from behind the curtains and stabs the shit out of him. And then when she cuts his head off. Those two moments, but my favorite moment in Halloween H2O is when she is standing in the street with the axe and her silhouette is right there. Theme starts and she's screaming, Michael. I was just like, we need something like that in this movie. So although I'm ready to move on from the Laurie Strode storyline, you better give her due in this movie.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, Justin, I guess the final thing I want to talk to you guys about is, what do we think happens after Halloween Ends? Where do we think the Halloween franchise goes? Justin, what do you think?
So there's two things. One, I know people want Danielle Harris back. Bring her back as Jamie Lloyd. If you're going to do something, that's a great idea. And two, somebody brought up a great point. I can't remember who it is, but I'm giving you a shout out. If they decided to reboot Halloween, just say they decided to do it. Don't make it a Laurie Strode story. Make it a Halloween movie. That's it. Just make it a Halloween movie. Have new characters. Have a new Michael. You could do something like that, and I'd be happy with that. Those are my two huge things. So I would love for a sequel to Halloween Season of the Witch, but I don't think they're going to do that.
Don't start that talk. Christian says that's blasphemous. Don't start that talk.
I would not mind it, just, if they wanted to do something with it, but I don't think it's going to happen, being that
if you brought back Tom Atkins and Tommy Lee Wallace in some capacity, I'd be cool with it.
Yes.
That's the only way I'd be cool with it. If you got Tommy Lee Wallace to be like, all right, I will construct a story. Tom has a role, even if it's a small role, some kind of continuation, I'd be cool with it. But I agree with you. You either reboot it and you give us new characters that have no connection to any of the previous tissue. Or 2, you retcon Halloween 6 for a new timeline like they did with this and continue with Jamie Lloyd, with
I
Daniel
think
Harris.
people want that. I think people want it. I want it. I think that would be great because I didn't like the way that they treated. First, I didn't like the way that Daniel Harris was treated with Halloween 6. And 2, I didn't like the way that they kind of ended her character, both in the theatrical and producer's cut. So, yeah, I would do that.
That is my ideal route to go, I think. But Christian says that he liked the Halloween Returns idea, and that was cool. That was cool because it was going to be a movie that wasn't connected to any of the previous, movies that we'd gotten in that vein. New characters, new story. All I'm saying is, guys, you have to understand this series is not going anywhere. Like, people just have to accept that. There's always going to be another movie years down the road. It's always going to happen. And when it inevitably happens, those are the 2 routes that Justin and I wanted to go. It's only those 2 routes. I don't see any other 2 routes that are even plausible. Like, that would even seem enjoyable to me, to be honest with you. If you were to come back and be like this, T. Parker, Halloween, the return of Tina, I might slam my hand in a car door.
Love Tina, but I don't know if Tina survived. She definitely did not survive.
And not just that, it's unnecessary. You know what I mean? I know he's just kidding, but
I'm a team Tina all the way, but no.
Yes.
Somebody brought up Rachel. I mean, yeah, she died in 5, but like, I love Ellie Cornell. Like, even if you had her in a small part, maybe play a different character, like, it would be amazing if they had Ellie Cornell come back.
Oh yeah. I look, there's a lot that we could do with some of these old characters, and we can create these new timelines and everything like that. But I'm just trying to let everybody know, no matter how bad you want it to happen, he's not going anywhere. So Michael will stick around. So get used to it.
I'm down with it. You're down with it. We love Halloween. So
yeah. What's up, Paul? Oh yes. Let's just. I'm putting this up for Christian. Listen to me right now, guys. Her kill was written so badass in the script, and she complained about it because she thought it was unceremonious and too graphic, so they took it out. But I'm sorry. A pair of scissors down the throat would have been brutal. Brutal.
See, this is where I'm glad they did not do that. I didn't want her to die. I'm glad they did not do that, though, because I love the character of Rachel. And to see her die like that, I would have been pissed. Just saying, I would have been pissed.
I get it, but at the same time, you can't say it wouldn't be a memorable death.
I mean, it would be a memorable death, but like, I would not want to. If somebody told me, Justin, you're such a likable character, but we're going to put scissors down your throat, I'd be like, not really feeling it. So I don't know. That's me. That is my opinion on that.
Guys, no spamming of the chat, okay? I see what you're saying, Kill Count. I don't want to have to put you in timeout for 5 minutes, but I will. It's called timeout. Like, I'm serious. Don't spam the chat, please. Don't spam the chat.
I will admit, though, like, if I will say this, even though I would not like the idea of Rachel dying that way, it would be memorable. I mean, it would be.
Yeah. I mean,
it'd be memorable. I don't like the idea. I didn't like when Tina died, but she died.
For all the shit that Dominique Othman and Gerard gets, he had some really cool ideas, some really cool contributions to Halloween 5.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Kill Count, you're good. I'm not mad. I'm just saying, like, just don't spam the chat. I would appreciate it. He had some great ideas. I loved the idea of that kill with Rachel. I thought that would have been brutal as hell. I loved the fact that he was like, yeah, Jamie Lloyd's a kid, but we're going to stab her in the leg. We're going to have Dr. Loomis use her as bait. Like,
I mean, the fact that, like,
I'm just saying, he did not hold anything back. Dominique Othman and Gerard was like, let's freaking do this, man. And people were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he's like, no, come on, let's do this. So
that whole scene where Michael's chasing him down in the car, I'm like, oh, and that was all real. Like, they were in that. They were involved with that. It was insane.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing Christian brings up is the opening The Dr. Death opening is better than the Hermit. I'm just gonna say it.
I haven't watched it yet. I have not watched it. I need to watch it.
It's just better because it gives you backstory on Thorn. It gives you like how this started. Two, for the vibe of Halloween 5, it just fits better. It just fits the vibe better because the movie's a little bit zanier, a little bit crazier.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's how the hell is this guy he just picked Michael up, put him in his barn or his shack for a year, and then he just woke up like, no, at least this one, like, he brought Michael back because of this curse, essentially. Like, that's the reason Michael comes back, and he's driven by this. Like, it just made more sense for what the movie was going for. So, yeah, I don't know why they cut that. I mean, that had to have been Mustafa. That had to have been Mustafa Akkad. Like, he had to have been like, no, that's too off the wall, crazy. We're not doing that. And then by Halloween 6, they were like, all right, screw it, we'll do that. But that's
I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring that up. Halloween 6 kind of went into especially the producer's cut went into a different direction.
Yeah. So I think at the time it was like, let's not do that. Let's not do that. And then by 6 comes around, they're like, we need stories, so let's just screw it. Let's just create.
I think the reason why, and I haven't seen it yet, so I'm excited to watch it, but the reason why I think they probably cut it out, even though, I mean, there's still there's some other stuff in that movie that doesn't make sense when you do cut the scene out. But I think with the success of Halloween 4 and the way that just was kind of the return of Michael Myers pretty much. I think Mustafa had some questions with Halloween 5, and so he wanted to change some stuff just to kind of make it flow a little bit better with Halloween 4. I'm rambling on, but
no, you're fine. I just like, come on, Christian, you're gonna tell me you didn't love Tookie the parrot? There's nothing out there, Tookie. Like,
Tookie?
everybody loved Tookie. Like, no, I completely agree. It makes no sense. Like, I know it was Mustafa because he made all the decisions. So, like, clearly it was Mustafa that said, let's not use that. But, like, looking back on it now, if I'm Malik, his son, I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, we probably should have used that because that hermit dude, like, that made, like, no logical sense at all. He just had a parrot, like, in the shack. And also they kept the Dr. Death set. So it's this giant stone slab that Michael's laying on. Like, why would this little old man have this giant, like, ritualistic stone slab in his shack? I mean, they should have just kept it. They should have not messed with it, but whatever. I want to get to this question because Apollo asked us this a few times.
What's up, Apollo?
If Halloween Ends doesn't officially end Myers' story, will this trilogy be ruined for you? No, so long as it ends Laurie's story. That's how I feel.
I wouldn't say it would ruin it for me, but I mean, they've kind of amped this up that, like, this will be the movie where they both go head to head. So if Myers kills Laurie and he gets away, and maybe they carry Allison on, maybe it would work, but I don't know. I'd rather them kind of end this Myers with Laurie and then kind of maybe reintroduce Jamie Lloyd and that storyline, or another Halloween film. If they killed off Laurie and Michael walked away, I'd be like, so we waited 3 movies for this? That's how I see it.
What's up, Sam? He's already coming at you.
Hey, I want to be honest. I don't want to, like, lie and be like, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, and this is a good point too, Christian. I do think that, although I love 5, so, like, I don't need it, but I really think if you did put in the gore that was in there that they took out, if you put in the original opening, if you maybe mixed the sound a little bit differently, none of the cop clown sounds.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Yeah.
I really think people would look at Halloween 5 in a much better light and be like, wow, this movie's actually, because it's very, Paul mentioned The House. Halloween 5 is a very gothic movie. It's very gothic in its feel. And The House is that way too. It's very, like, I don't know. It's artsy. You can tell that Dominique, being a foreign filmmaker, really brings that kind of a foreign flair to it at times. And I dug that vibe. It was something new for a Halloween movie. Yeah. Like, I really dug that. But I agree, Christian. I really do think that if you could put all that into it, a lot of people would actually appreciate it a lot more. But let's see. RBR says, could Halloween Ends be your favorite Halloween film? Nothing will ever beat the original for me.
No, not for me. But I want it to be one of my favorites. I said that about Kills, and it wasn't. I want Halloween Ends to be one of my favorites. Make it one of my favorites, guys. Like, let this be a great, an awesome, perfect ending to this trilogy, and let it be one of my favorites.
I just think that the way I've always looked at it is, and it's not closed-minded. Some people might say it is. Oh, the original doesn't always have to be the best. No, it doesn't. But I think Halloween is one of the exceptions to the rule where it's just that good. It's just that timeless. It's just that effective. It's the blueprint. It made Michael Myers. It made the Myers house. It made Laurie Strode. Like, it's hard to get an iteration of those sets and those characters and say, well, it's better. How's it better, though? Because this is what started it. You don't have this iteration without that one. So
no, I'm with you.
That's just my opinion. But, and just to say, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is a movie that I will love till the day I die. I love
Halloween 2. I love Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
And I still can't put it above the original. I can't.
I love Halloween 1981, but I cannot put it above the original. It's close. It's very close next to it, but I cannot.
Let's see. Random Brown wants to know, which Halloween was the first that got you into the franchise? The first one I ever saw was Halloween 5.
The first one I ever saw was Halloween, and then Halloween 2 as a double feature on USA. And those were the two movies that made me fall in love with this franchise. And then Halloween 5 came along.
Yes, Paul, Danny McBride did make a joke about 10 more Halloween films. I'd be cool with that as long as he's not a part of all 10 of them. So, and T. Parker, that's a really good way to look at it. And I've been thinking of this too. And I want to I didn't tell you the story, Justin. I want to tell you really quick. I showed it to my wife finally last week. And, she really enjoyed 2018. And we watched Kills. And at the end of it, she looks at me and she goes, and I was like, you didn't like it? She's like, not really, no. And I was like, why? And she's like, well, there's all these random characters that I don't care about that were getting all this attention. And like, I wanted, Laurie's story and all this and that. And I looked at it like, that explains it all to me. Not for everyone, but for a good portion of people that didn't like Kills, this movie was made for the diehard fans like me and like Justin and like a lot of you guys. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to like it, but it was made to hit those notes with us, not with the casual fan base. The casual fan base, not the casual horror fan base. Most of them aren't going to care about Lindsay Wallace or Tommy Doyle or Marion Chambers or anybody like that. We care about that. Most of them aren't going to care about the Myers house or the music and stuff. We care about that. So when she said that, I was like, that makes complete sense because you're not a diehard like me. So you're getting introduced to these characters and like, these are random. These are weird new characters. I'm like, no, this was a love letter to me. Like, to people like me that have spent thousands of dollars on their Halloween collection alone. This movie was made for me and for Justin and for a lot of you guys. Now, that doesn't mean you're guaranteed to like it, but they were trying to get us to like it. They weren't trying to get everyone else to like it. And I appreciate that.
Like I said, I had a good time with the movie. I think it's entertaining. And there were things I loved about it. So love the Myers house, especially like you go back to the 1978 flashback stuff. And they nailed the way that house looked, like even from the small detail. So loved it.
By the way, hello, Sarah. It's all right that you're late.
Hello, Sarah. What's up, my friend? I love you.
So guys, that's the Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends talk. And I think after this, I think Justin and I are done talking about it for a while. I think that we've done Kills to death. We've talked about Ends a few times now. We probably won't talk about Ends again until we start getting some set photos this winter. That's probably going to be, or unless there's breaking news on it, this character's coming back or yada, yada. But I at this point, I want to turn it over to you guys in the chat. Is there anything you'd like to say? Any questions you have? We got a few more minutes before we wrap up. You go ahead, but I just wanted to say, everybody in the chat, this is your moment. So
I will say this. Y'all stay tuned tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on my channel, where Nick and Ken from Sledgehammer Horror will be on a live stream with me, and we are going to rank the Halloween franchise. So tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
All right. This is funny. T. Parker says, can we talk about how he decapitated a kid? I had no idea the head was in that mask until like my third time watching it. I was like,
really? I was like,
the head is in that mask.
Yeah, he decapitated a kid. I was like, geez.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. Also, let's see. Oh, Paul's going to head out. All right. Take care, Paul. Have a good one.
Take care, Paul.
Justin, have you watched the first 2 episodes of Chucky yet?
Oh, I'm so behind. I haven't watched it. I have to watch them. I have to watch that franchise. But not franchise. I have to start watching it. So,
Random. We actually did a whole segment where we did, 70s horror movies, 80s horror movies, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. We've covered most of the eras of horror. The only reason we are talking about Halloween as much as we are lately is obviously because it's at the forefront of everybody's mind right now. So there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to unpack. As you can see behind me, this is my favorite franchise. So I have to talk about these things a lot. And, but like I said, this is probably it for a while. It's just, I'm going to watch it again tonight with Christian for a, I believe, live commentary now. But we definitely have, we definitely have. We've talked about Rob Zombie. We've talked about, James Wan. We've talked about a lot of stuff. All the episodes are on my channel if you ever want to go back and watch them. So we've been doing this for months now.
And kill count, I did get the Halloween 4Ks. I have a video on my channel. So
as did I.
Yeah.
Rudy, I just at this point,
Rudy, you're awesome.
It's just Rudy's MO. Right at the end, sneak a little super chat in there. By the way, Rudy, I appreciate that very much. Makes me want to go see it again tonight in theaters. Also, can't wait to check out Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. I will say, the full trailer for Paranormal Activity looked better than the teaser. It did look better. Don't know when I'm going to get around to it. But, Rudy, go see Kills again. And thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're awesome,
Rudy. Rudy, do you have... I think Rudy has post notifications turned on for me. Do you have notifications turned on for me? Because he's like the quickest to like my stuff. And I appreciate the hell out of that. That's great. So, RBR brings up a good point. Yes, we are going to be talking about Scream very, very soon, because we're about to get another full trailer any week now. It's been rated already. The trailer has. It's done. Don't know when it'll drop. But yes, we will definitely. We're going to be doing an episode in November. Or no. Maybe I think we'll wait till January. About a week before Scream comes out. We will do a live stream about the franchise. So that'll be exciting. I look forward to that. But yes, we will be talking about Scream. And Jay, I meant on Instagram because I post on Instagram and Rudy's right there. Yes, yeah, it is. He's got them on. I appreciate that. You kick ass, dude. That'll be exciting. That'll be exciting to talk about Scream. We still have to do a Scream 3 and a Scream 4 live commentary as well before we do the Jesus, I was losing track of my train of thought. Before we do our live stream, then talking about it, but again, that'll be in January. And Justin, by the way, when you were talking about us being on your channel tomorrow night, I was totally like sitting here like, oh my God. See you later, Kill Count.
Bye, Kill Count.
I was like, I can't do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Why would Justin say tomorrow? And then now I'm sitting here and I'm like, tomorrow's Tuesday. Yes, I can.
Tomorrow's Tuesday.
So I thought I was going to have to get off here and be like, Justin, I can't do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. But no, it's Tuesday. So, yes, I will be on Justin's channel tomorrow at 7. We're going to rank the Halloween franchise.
I was like, Nick's not excited. I'm out of here now.
No, I was genuinely thinking tomorrow was Wednesday. I was like,
I know, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Man, now I feel bad.
Don't feel bad. I'll stop.
But
no.
Kill count. Thanks for being in here.
5 kill count. But yes, tomorrow night on my channel, guys, me, Nick, and Ken from Sledgehammer Horror, we will be ranking the Halloween franchise, our personal rankings during a live stream. So definitely stay tuned, guys.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
That will be fun. I think it's a perfect way to kick off or end the Halloween season. Even though Halloween is all year round for all of us, this is a perfect way to kind of close the month.
Yeah, and obviously with Halloween being my bread and butter, and I've been talking about it a lot on my channel lately, I've definitely noticed some substantial growth on my channel over the past couple weeks, and I really appreciate all my new subscribers. If you're new and you're here in the live chat watching right now, thank you very much. If you're new and you're watching on the playback, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Check out Justin's channel if you haven't already at Ryan1988. We do this every week. Most of the time it's Monday. Lately with my wedding and Justin's work schedule, it had been other days, but we're going to try to keep it as Monday as best we can. But yeah, having said that, guys, it's I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And it means a lot. And my shameless plug, if you haven't checked out my Patreon yet, please go ahead and do that. Little as $1 a month, and help support the channel, support my channel to, allow me to buy these things and buy the tools I need in order to do this. And because YouTube takes a lot of the money that you do make anyway. So Patreon's a great way to support the channel. It's just the Lost River Drive-In on Patreon. I posted a Rob Zombie's 31 movie review yesterday because everybody always jokes with me about loving 31. So I posted a review for my patrons. And I've got another patron exclusive upload coming tomorrow. I already know what it's going to be, but I'm not going to tell you guys, so you can't get it out of me. Yeah, I just wanted to shamelessly plug that. Anybody wants to throw some super chats or some love in the chat right now, speak now or forever hold your peace. Justin, what else do you have to say, my friend?
Well, as far as videos this week, I don't have anything. I have videos I want to do. I can't say I have things set in stone, but look out for some other videos. I do want to talk about real quick, because I don't know if we've talked about it, but the first picture of Rob Zombie's The Monsters.
Yes.
Overall, I love the photo. Overall, I loved it.
Me too.
I was like very happy with it. Very, very happy with it. So
I have hope. I have a lot of hope for that.
Me too.
It's going to open some people's eyes to Rob Zombie. And I'm
I
excited.
agree. I agree.
What's up, Chris? How you doing?
How are you?
Oh, man.
Oh, J-Dub, you're awesome.
Thank you so much. No, dude, yeah, you're awesome. You're in here every chat we do, even if it's a movie you don't like Halloween 3's commentary. He was in here while we were watching Halloween 3, and he's not a big fan of that movie. That means a lot, man. Thank you for your support. And yes, we are going to get Justin to turn on super chats. I have to get him to activate or to download the YouTube Studio app because he doesn't have it yet.
I have a YouTube Studio app. I don't know how to do the super chats though.
Okay. You'll have to do it on a desktop. So do you have a laptop or anything?
Yes, I do.
All right. I'll try to walk you through it. That way you can start getting some moolah on your live chats, because Jay was messaging me about it because I know he wants to throw some super chats your way. So
well, thank you, Jay. Thank you.
So yeah, again, dude, thank you so much. That you kick ass, man. I really appreciate your continued support. I mean, especially the freaking Daniel Harris video, dude. That was so cool. That was one of the coolest things anybody.
That really was.
That was awesome. I really appreciate that. And then Antonis comes in from the top rope. How old does young Lonnie look in Halloween Kills? Was that the original Myers house we saw in California? No. They rebuilt the house on a soundstage, but it was an exact replica.
Yes.
And, I would say, what would you say? Lonnie looks about 10?
9 or 10. 9 or 10.
I would say 9 or 10. Again, Antonis, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. You guys rock, okay? Because You don't make crap from ads on YouTube. I can tell you that. I don't make anything from ads. It's the super chats that get me by and help me sleep at night. So thank you very, very, very much. I really appreciate that. And then Jay says, you should play that during a stream or video in case someone doesn't follow you on IG. Oh, dude. That's a good idea. I need to upload that as like a video clip. Christian put it on one of our podcast episodes, which was awesome. She thought I owned a drive-in, though, but I don't really care because she acknowledged my existence. But Justin's gotten to meet her, and so has Jay. So
three times, I think. Yeah.
I've never got to meet her, but I feel like I'd fangirl really hard, and I might end up getting divorced because my wife would be upset about how attracted I am to Danielle Harris. I'm kidding, and I'm not kidding. John, thank you for all that you do, being a supporter of the channel. I really appreciate that, buddy. You rock. And John is always tagging me in news on social media every day, keeping me up to date. I don't have notifications on my Twitter set up, so I only see it when I get it on there, when I get on there. But I try to interact with it. I really appreciate that. Thank you, John. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the super chat. So, Justin, any final words, my friend?
I had so much fun. It's great to be back on a Monday show, and I love this. I always love talking with you, buddy, and I love talking with you all. You guys are amazing. So just thank you for all you do.
Yes, and we're going to end it off with this. Jeffrey, that is absolutely right. We need the other films in the franchise to get 4Ks, and I believe we will soon enough.
I feel like we're going to get them. I feel like we will get them. So
yeah. Well, guys, that's going to do it for me and Justin tonight, our latest episode of Haddonfield High Alumni. We will see you tomorrow night over at Ryan 1988, where we will be ranking the Halloween franchise. So go ahead and head on over to Justin's channel if you have not already. Hit the subscribe button. Set a notification reminder for our live stream tomorrow night. And I will
7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes, and I will see all of your faces there on Justin's channel. Thank you, everybody, for being in here. If you haven't left a like yet, smash the like button. Justin, great show tonight. Great job tonight. I had fun. I hope you did.
I did too, buddy. I had a blast. So
awesome. All right. Well, this is Nick and Justin, and we are saying good night.